people to sit and relax.
Excuse me, I'm going to ask you.
2020 people!
However,
Trump,
you are not welcome.
I have the right to free
No,
speech.
You do not have the right to free speech on this plaza.
you do not have the right to free speech on this plaza. We have a rental agreement for this plaza.
He's the greatest president we've ever had. Trump, you liar! Go set your pants on fire!
Trust me, honey, the whole point is you'll never be white enough.
He's the greatest president we've ever had.
Trump, you liar! Will set your pants on fire! Trump's a liar! Will set his pants on fire! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
Socialism is
Hands off Venezuela!
millions of
Venezuela! Hands off 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 Venezuela!
You spat at me! You spat at me!
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
At me!
Hands off Venezuela! 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 Hands off Venezuela!
Hey! Socialism in this country! Do you want the deaths of millions of people because of socialism in this country? What kind of asinine point is that? It's unbelievable what you support. You all should be ashamed of yourselves because you support socialist policies in this great country.
I couldn't hear you. What'd you say?
Re-elect Donald Trump!
The people that are more important than you are drowning you out.
Really, the people are more important to me.
Your
Who's more
opinion-
important to me?
your opinion is
Who's
terrible.
more important to me? Millions of people that are dying because of socialism, because of policies that you support? Unbelievable! You all should be ashamed of yourselves. Re-elect Trump 2020!
Why don't you tell us about the new American face of fascism?
Well, of course, if as a man of color, then you can just confuse the working class. But do you think the white racist friends are going to give you a 2 in the back of the head if they ever win?
Why do you think
Why
my
would
friends
it-
are racist? What gives you the impression that this guy right here is a racist? Because he's white? You're white. I don't know if you realize that. This is what I'm not understanding. You can't just paint an entire group as racist, blah, 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 blah,
I
da,
don't
da,
paint
da,
an
da.
entire group.
We
I
don't
think
paint
Trump
socialists.
and his supporters as racist.
We don't paint all
Trump and his
socialists as
supporters are
crazy.
racists. Trump and his supporters are racists.
Hey, are you gonna? Are you just taking a picture? Okay.
But
I didn't know I was
make
famous.
Sure you go and edit all this, you know. Like
We
you
won't.
do, and put it- oh yeah, you do.
We just cut it together. I mean, if you check out our footage, which a lot of your friends are in, it got 37,000 views. It's pretty good. So apparently, Justin, you are going to put 2 in the back of my head because you are white and I am brown. Shenanigans.
You can't have white supremacists if you win and have other people that around.
Or we could just believe in true equality and handle everything based on
I
merit.
do believe in true equality. That's
So
why
do
believe
I.
people of color
You know,
can
we're
be
not all that different from you
That's why I
guys.
believe people of color can be racist because it's America. You can be all you can be, including a racist.
Yes, I completely agree. But why does social justice teach that colored people can't be racist then?
There you go. You got it right there. I don't teach that.
What?
Well, that's what social justice teaches.
You just said it. Yeah, thank you. There you go.
Guys, this is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even here an hour, and we've triggered so many people. I mean, this is just.
Well, I don't mean
Well, the
physically,
east side.
but I'm talking about politically where you're coming from.
Well, we're conservatives.
I'm not going to look at your YouTube right now?
Sure.
Yeah,
yeah, there
you
you go.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
By all means.
Yeah.
It's called Operation Cold Front.
Operation Cold.
No.
So let me ask you. So what do you mean?
We're just checking out here. This is
Sure,
betting.
well, what do you mean about the war in Venezuela? No war in Venezuela.
Well, hold on a second, and I'll talk to you in a minute.
Well, hey. So I had a question for you. So I'm Muslim. You're wearing a Free Palestine shirt. Are you Muslim too?
I've already said I would not like to talk to you.
Well, why not?
If he doesn't want to talk to you, he doesn't have to talk to you.
Well, the thing is, it's a free country, so we can interview whoever we want.
And if he doesn't want to talk to you, then he doesn't want to talk to you. Thank you.
Well, we can still stand here and ask the question. You can't do anything about that.
So now you're just going to ignore us? Wow, that seems very mature. I mean, we're trying to have an open
I
conversation.
don't mind if you guys like ignore us. It's just really irritating when you guys like block our way like you usually do. We understand that. We're just asking like 2 or 3 questions and then we'll go. So, you're wearing a Free Palestine shirt. Don't you think maybe we have some things in common?
We're just trying to get some opinions here, man.
No. Oh, all right. That's probably not going to work. All right, lads. Keep getting the footage.
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
Hands off my ball sack!
Hands off Venezuela! 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 Hands off!
We should change our channel name to Annoying Liberals. Why don't you tell us why you don't like the Democrats and liberals?
Okay, well, I didn't say I didn't like liberals. Progressive
Democrats.
people- Yeah, the Democratic Party is a ruling class party. It's committed horrendous crimes against the people of the world. It's actually committed more than the Republicans, if you really want to take a body count, going back to the Vietnam War. Because they're heading an empire. They do not want, they want order, they want justice. We have the #1 fascist in the world who's just, mentioned by this fucking terrorist that just murdered all these people. He's unleashing all these terrorists. People in this country have to wake up if they haven't woken up to the fact that in this country, this government's trying to consolidate a whole different form of rule that has no democratic rights. There's never any reason for anybody, this new country, like people have said, there's nothing humanitarian about what the U.S. government is. A lot of younger people, they never. Are you trolls?
We're trolls. How are we trolls? How are we trolls?
Are they?
They have a right-wing website.
So what?
You're right, we're right-wingers, but that
So
doesn't
what?
mean we can't get the other side's opinion.
Okay, well,
But how are we
We got
trolls?
your opinion.
How are we trolls?
Why did they send you guys to look like you?
Actually, we're
aren't?
independents. Thank you.
Do
So
we
why are we
look like
trolls?
liberals?
Why are we trolls? Come on, come and have a debate with me.
You support Trump.
I do.
I do. So what?
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
I'm brown. I can't be racist.
You can be racist against me!
How am I racist against you?
Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
You're getting really close. You're getting really close. Why are you getting so close? You like it?
Hands off Venezuela! 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 Hands off Venezuela!
Are you our security?
Hands off Venezuela!
Our security.
Hands off Venezuela! 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 You guys want to get around? How do I use this thing? Hello, hello! Racist! Go!
bigots go home! Racist 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 bigots go home!
What are you doing? Don't touch us. Don't fucking touch us. Don't fucking touch us.
Racist bigots go home!
Why is this chick touching us?
Racist bigots go home! 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 Racist bigots go home!
Do we look racist?
Racist bigots go home! Racist bigots go home!
Watch the phone though. Watch the phone. I'm watching you too. I'm watching you too.
Go home! Racist bigots go home! Racist bigots go home! Racist bigots go home! Racist
Loser. 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 Loser.
In fame and make sure you catch hit Zach.
Racist bigots go home!
Spin at me again? You gonna fucking spin at me again? Does this thing work? I can't tell. Am I racist?
Bigots go home! Racist bigots go home!
Meow 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 meow.
Racist bigots go
Don't touch his shit! Don't touch his shit! Don't touch his shit! Don't touch his shit! Hesitate to fight back! Don't touch his shit! Don't touch his shit! Racist bigots go home! Racist bigots go home! Racist bigots go home! Racist bigots go home! You're a fascist!
Time for a couple questions?
No time for you.
No time for me. No time for me. Why? Why no time for me? Busy. You're sitting here. We're sitting here. Busy with what? Enjoy what?
You don't hear music?
Well, I mean, I clearly hear music, but you're clearly not busy.
So
So what do you mean? So I'm trying to have an open conversation with you about what your opinions are.
that's nice.
Okay, great. So let's have a conversation. Would you like to have a conversation?
No, not right now.
So we're trying to use our freedom of speech here. I'm trying to have an open conversation.
The government isn't censoring you. I'm just telling you that I don't want to talk to you.
Right. So why not?
I don't have to justify that.
I mean, come on. Like,
Conversation includes consent. Fuck off.
Oh, so now you're telling me to fuck off.
Yes, I think that's what she said.
So now I'm being told to fuck off. Why?
Because you're harassing people.
How am I harassing people?
You asked her if she
Well,
wants to
I
talk,
mean,
and she
you
said
got
no.
video evidence. Anyone will be able to see.
Oh yeah, well that's great. But how am I harassing anybody?
You asked her if she wanted to talk to you. She said no. You're continuing to try to talk to her. Fuck off.
So okay, I don't really appreciate you being told to fuck off.
Fuck off.
So I have a right to stand here.
So do we. And we're saying fuck off. It's a public space.
Okay, cool. That's your freedom of speech. I respect that.
Fuck off.
At least got hostile.
Yeah. So I mean, how would you? So how would you feel if I told you to fuck off?
I wouldn't
I mean,
care.
come on.
I don't know you.
So you wouldn't care, right? All right.
No, you're nobody to me.
Wow, that's very nice. Thanks a lot. So I was first trying to be nice. Now you're just being mean.
Well, you can't just put kindness points into someone and expect a conversation to pop out.
Well, I just
Really?
did.
Kindness tokens don't work?
No,
You're not a kindness vending machine?
I'm not.
So if I put 50 cents in you, I wouldn't get a kindness little bar out of you?
No, it's you might be looking for a different kind of person for that. I don't know.
A different kind of person, huh? All right. Well, hey, We might be back later to ask you some more questions, all right? Thanks a lot.
Basically hurt the people of the country based upon who their leaders are. That's kind of where it is.
Yeah,
and you know, the other thing is we've been involved with so many wars. It's time for us to end wars.
The proxy wars of the 1970s and 80s, El Salvador, Guatemala, believe me, I know, I studied those. But, you know, what I'm wondering about is I've done a lot of studying about Venezuela. I did a couple videos on it. You know, men are actually selling their own sexual organs in order to escape and get to Colombia. Women are selling their hair and breast milk. They've been without power for, 2 weeks now? It's getting pretty bad down there.
Yeah,
now,
well,
I know
sanctions do horrible things to people, don't they?
So what would you suggest
what
instead?
What right do we have to go ahead and impose those sanctions on that people?
Well,
what idea
behind the sanctions is to pressure Maduro into releasing food trucks.
We know from so many times where sanctions have been imposed, it doesn't hurt the leaders of the country, it hurts the people.
Sure.
And that's the reason they do that. It's to hurt the people so that the people will try and change their leaders. But what right do we have to go in? We've got to go ahead and correct the water system in Flint, Michigan. We've got so many things to do in this country. What makes us have the right to go ahead and determine what the leaders are to other countries?
So you think we should focus on America first?
We need to focus on America, but we also have to realize that we can't be imperialists. We can't go ahead and force our decisions in other countries, just like we wouldn't want other countries to do the same to us.
Sure, I think I can understand that. So isn't Donald Trump's slogan, "Make America Great Again" and focus on America first?
You know, I don't care about President Trump. I care about the people of the United States. It's important for the people of the United States to make decisions that will help other people in the United States, and as well as the world, in not going ahead and conducting our military interventions everywhere that we don't belong.
Those actually seem like very logical conclusions. What was your name?
Where are you from?
I have a YouTube channel.
Oh, okay. And what's your YouTube channel?
It's called Operation Cold Front, if you'd like to check it out.
Okay, I'll do that.
Awesome.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Make sure our people are catching up. Make sure our people are catching up.
Fascists out! Fascists out! Fascists out! Fascists out! Fascists out! Fascists out!
Hey, don't touch him. Don't fucking touch him. Don't fucking touch him. You touch us, we will not hesitate to fight back. Yeah. Hey, you keep fucking touching us and we got it on camera. Hey, should we report this?
Fascists out! Fascists out! Fascists out! Fascists out! Fascists out! Fascists out!
Fascists out!
Get your sign out of the fucking way.
How are we fascists, people?
This is the fucking fascist. She stops free speech. The left stops free speech. Justin, you getting this? The left stops free speech, not the right. Hello.
The fascists have always been on the left! Always! Throughout history! Every single socialist regime has been on the left!
Hey, you say hate speech is not free speech? Why don't you educate me? What is hate speech?
Hate speech is speech that does violence to people by the ideas of hate that spreads violence, and then ends up causing that violence through bigoted, racist ideas of hatred.
My brother, the only thing that is forbidden is inciting violence. That is the philosophical difference between you and me.
Incites violence.
It does not.
Yes, it does.
You can qualify almost anything as hate speech. It's true. Can you say the same words you could say 10 years ago? Can you make the same jokes? Make comedy great again.
Make comedy punch up again.
What do you mean? You mean punch, speak truth to power? We speak truth to power too. You don't think we do this to the right wing? We do. Believe me, we do. Fucking white nationalists and neo-Nazis, believe me, we speak truth to them too. We fucking hate those guys. I mean, unless you think I'm a fucking white nationalist, probably not.
Are you Salim Juma?
No, that's Salim Juma, man.
Hey, I'm Luke from Club USA.
Shit. Hey, what's up, man?
Dude, we're like freaking out.
Hey, you're lucky you found the only conservatives in this protest.
Yeah, I know. My heart is 100 miles an hour.
I told you, man, you gotta have fucking balls to do this shit. You gotta have fucking balls.
Keep training my Muay Thai with
Stop. Wait for the fascists. Follow me, lads.
I'd like you to go.
We come here to talk to people.
Well, talking is cool. Spreading hate speech is not cool.
This is not hate speech. What qualifies as hate speech? Oh, thank you.
Saying that America was ever great is hate speech.
What do you mean? You live here. Come on, follow the fucking protest.
Saying America is great is hate speech.
That's what I fucking said. This is getting crazy. We're not breaking any laws, just by the way. Dude, I am so getting doxxed after this.
That's your problem.
So many people took my picture and I wasn't even doing anything. I'm fucked.
It's okay, Justin. We'll take care of you. Remember, the right wing has your back. What about other terrorists? Shouldn't we be fighting white and other terrorists? Anybody who creates terrorism is a problem.
Guys, I have to get rolling. I have to get to work.
These people march from
You want a bar? You want my group?
Hey, I think we're good. So you remember at the last protest when you tried to impede my movement and block my way, I was wondering why you did that. You remember that, yes? You stopped me from going into the protest numerous times. Wasn't very nice. I'm actually surprised you didn't do the same thing here, but yeah, nothing to say. No, what was their chant? No fascists, no KKK, no Nazis,
no fascists,
USA.
No fear, immigrants are welcome.
Yeah.
Even though his parents are immigrants.
Nah.
Pretty low, man.
I'm just wondering. I mean, it's not. You know it's illegal to block someone's way, and you did that last time. So I'm wondering why you did. Maybe you can tell us. You know, give our viewers. Your video actually went viral. It got 37,000 views. Is that viral status? I'm not really sure.
I would say that's viral status.
Solid, solid. So I mean, we're just kind of wondering. You can tell our viewers why. You know. No.
Nothing.
Stoic. I'll give him that.
I mean, come on, man. We're trying to have an open discussion. We're trying to be nice.
No.
But you're here trying to act like you're cool.
Trying to bully the guy who's supposed to be the.
Actually, this guy blocked my progress when I was trying to interview people at the last protest.
Here, I got a message for the right, for
Sure.
honest conservatives, so you can film me.
Excellent.
Here's my message to honest conservatives. If you believe in morality, if you believe in decency, if you believe in not wasting resources, if you believe in having a good neighborhood and family, matters that really count, then you got to figure out what your duty is. I joined the Army because I believed in doing my duty. At a certain point, I decided that my duty really was to humanity, not to some subgroup, not tribal kind of stuff where my duty is to the Seahawks and screw the
or my duties to a
Raiders.
particular country or
Right,
a
any of
particular
that
whatever.
Stuff, that in the biggest final thing, it's a conservative value, I think, to be for humanity. And that, though, calls into question stuff like the Venezuelan oil grab. Because there's no question but what that oil is going to get burned up using, powering buses and cars and whatever it's going to be used for. Truth is, humanity needs oil until we figure out some better way to do things. The question really is who's going to be the seller of Venezuelan oil.
And who benefits from going in and taking their oil.
Exactly.
So my question is this, okay? So I'm going to tell you right now, I don't support an oil grab. I don't support us stealing their oil or their national resources or, countries in Africa. A lot of the European countries do the same thing. They take the natural resources and flip them, so we suck them dry. My thing is, if it was proven that people are dying in the streets and the power has been out for 2 weeks and people are literally selling their bodies to escape Venezuela, don't we have a moral obligation to do something? Not militarily, but at least putting diplomatic muscle on Maduro.
I would say No. Well, first of all, I don't think that you can blame the Maduro government for the fact that somebody has hacked into their power grid and they got no electricity. That's just warfare by another means. And just like I'm not for sending our troops into Venezuela to shoot down their grade school teachers or whatever the heck we would shoot down or bomb or whatever.
I don't support military intervention
I'm
either.
also not for, if you think about what's the difference between economic warfare and the old days when the army would surround the city and starve it out.
Sanctions.
That's, surrounding the city and starving it out is as old as war, and it's warfare. And so if we are going to go and try and cause as much grief as we can do in Venezuela, cut them off economically from the larger banking system, and refuse to sell them the naphtha that they use to dilute their oil so they can pump it into these ships to send off to wherever it's going to go. If we do all the things that we can do to ruin their economy, and if we do all of that stuff, we don't have to invade maybe, because it's the same thing as surrounding the city and starving them out. It's still warfare. And people should recognize that. I believe people should hold on to their conservative values if they have conservative values. They're honest, sincere, and decent. But they've got to figure out who their neighbors are and live with them.
Thank you. I mean, you're clearly trying to block us. Why are you doing that? Standing around, really? Of all the places in this area, right here. Really? Really? Christ, not even 20 minutes again. Not even 20 minutes. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I'm just wondering if maybe we can get an interview with the safety guys. Are you guys with the Democratic Socialist Party? No.
I don't have anything else to say.
How come?
How come?
Yes, how come?
Because I don't want to talk to you.
Why? Well, that was quick. So why not have an open debate? Why not debate with facts, logic, reasoning? Toasty!
No, I don't feel like debating you.
You don't feel like it. So feelings over facts now? Facts don't care about your feelings.
Bow before your fascist leaders. Kiss their ass. Let's see the how in there.
Well, wouldn't you want to talk to people with differing political opinions?
Oh, so... Yeah, but at the same time, I'm not going to be, we'll see.
We're trying to ask some neutral questions here. So what do you think about the no war in Venezuela?
Yeah, well, I told you, I'll talk to you in a second. That's a good way to do it. Tell me about while we're waiting, just tell me about where you're coming from.
Yeah. So, we're right-wingers, but we want to try and get everyone's point of view, right? A lot of the people here are Democratic Socialists, left-wingers for the most part. Personally, we disagree with you on the standpoint on Venezuela. We're not war hawks, right? We don't want to go for war in Venezuela, but we certainly want sanctions and we want Nicolas Maduro out of power. I do agree with the fact that U.S. imperialism needs to stop. The proxy wars of the 1970s and 80s, the Gulf War, the Iran-Iraq War, and everything we've done in the Middle East. Stupid waste of time, waste of life, waste of resources, but I don't think we should just let Venezuela stand. People are dying.
Living on their own. People are just making their own decisions.
Dying.
America's got to stop that.
I don't know, man. It seems pretty bad down there. People are selling their sexual organs in order to escape. People are selling their breast milk.
They're selling their sexual organs?
Yeah, they're also out of power. Straight men are selling their butts.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. And women, of course, are also selling their bodies. I hate the...
I just don't know that that's true. It may be true.
Yeah.
In some small example, but...
Well, no, it's a fact. Why don't you tell us about what you've heard? What news?
I've been to Venezuela, and so,
What was it like?
It was okay. I'm going to tell you a story.
Sure.
So I wanted to take some pictures of revolutionary graffiti. Kind of like a revolutionary tourist, right? Left-wing tourist. I thought, hey, let me get some pictures of some cool graffiti.
Yeah.
So I got in a cab, and my Spanish is crappy. And so I said, well, take me to some signs of the revolution. It was the best I could come up with because I didn't really know what the Spanish word for graffiti was.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay. And he drove around and he pulls up in front of this corporate office building. I said, well, where's the graffiti? You know, and he goes, well, you know, this, what am I supposed to take? He says, the office building. He says, well, because this is the headquarters for the oil company. And the people own the oil now. And, you know, I was kind of...
They nationalized everything.
Yeah. Well, they didn't nationalize everything, but they did nationalize the oil. And so he, in fact, was much more sophisticated than me, just this random cab driver, because he took me to the oil company. The people own the oil, and the oil is now going to, to build community colleges, for instance.
Yeah.
When I interviewed right-wing students, they all came from the elite universities. When I interviewed left-wing students, guess where they came from? Community colleges, because there were no community colleges before they took the oil and used it to build the community colleges.
Sure.
You see, we're not talking about somebody selling their sex organs. We're talking about whether a person gets a chance to have an education or not. You know.
I can understand that.
That's
but
like
when
that revolutionary of a dream to have an education.
Absolutely not. When did you go to Venezuela, though?
Well, it was the late years of Chavez. You know.
So
I can't remember exactly what year it was.
But that's many years before the Maduro regime.
But it's the same deal. When I was there, the right wing was complaining because there were rolling brownouts around the country. Mm-hmm. Because there was, what had happened is that the Chavez government had decided instead of burning fossil fuels to generate electricity, that they would use hydroelectric, because that's the kind of the green solution.
Right.
Now they're sitting on more oil than anybody, but they decided to use hydroelectric to generate electricity. The problem, as it turned out, was that, you know, with climate change, you get weird climate events, and they got a drought that wasn't supposed to happen in a rainforest. And so the water was critically low behind the dam, and they had to ration what there was because they didn't know when the drought was going to be over, and so they had to kind of spread the electricity around the country. So there were these rolling brownouts. The right-wing groups were like screaming that, you know, this is the proof of the failure of socialism. Well, frankly, I don't think that's true. You know, they were complaining because it hadn't rained and blaming that on Chavez and on the government, you see. Well, now they're blaming, you know, oh, it's the failure of socialism and it's all that stuff. But when I was there, they were complaining because it hadn't rained. You know, frankly, that's not a valid complaint. You know,
so I have a question. So what do you think about the differences between the left and the right wing here in the States? I mean, we have a lot of left-wing college students that are preaching the values of socialism at these elite universities like Harvard, Yale, Stanford, but they've never suffered or never lived through any kind of hardship. They're preaching this social justice thing. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's grand if people have a dream of a better day. And frankly, we're standing in front of a community college here. We're not standing in front of a Harvard, and here's all these folks. So, you know, I don't think that you can attack the movement for the fact that some privileged kids might also share that dream. Right over there a second ago was the Libertarian Party,
right?
You know, which I went up and thanked them for being here,
right?
You know, because you know, we share a common notion, which is that the U.S. shouldn't really be going around, you know, like during the Vietnam days, which is my generation. You know, it wasn't the United States having our houses burned down by the Vietnamese. It was us burning down the Vietnamese houses, you know.
Hey, I'm actually with you on the Vietnam War.
It was during the Iraq War. It was like, how come our oil is under their sand? And this thing in Venezuela is really all about a grab for. Yeah.
Really, we're far right? Why don't you tell us how we are?
Yeah, well, right. My only point on that is that this, if you can't figure out that this is a oil grab, that we want to be the sellers of Venezuela oil rather than the buyers of Venezuela oil, you know, that's the whole deal right there. And I don't know how you feel about that, but I think that sucks.
Well, honestly, I think you've really brought up some good points. I mean, normally I disagree with a lot of what the left wing says, but you brought up very good logical points.
Trump's a monster.
Really? Okay. I'll
should
take this. I'll take this.
how you could
really?
support
Lowest unemployment rate.
Never mind.
Lowest women unemployment.
It's not about America. It's about the people of the world.
People of the world. What about America first?
No.
What about America first?
I'm fucking totally against that.
Really?
That's what.
So you're not America first?
No, I am not. Never.
Why not?
Why not? Because it's an empire.
Do you want to protect the United States citizens first?
No, I do not.
I agree with protecting the world, but you got to protect the citizens first, right?
No. The people of the world.
Wow. Unbelievable. It's getting hot out here.
No, I'm for What are you? So you just think we should kill everybody in the world?
No, did I say that? Did I say that?
So why is this first or second? Life is life. People should.
Okay,
be
so
protected.
in your house,
Not,
if I was an intruder, let's just say hypothetically, I was an intruder.
Why would you come into my house?
I'm saying hypothetically, if I was an intruder, would you protect your family, or would you protect your neighbors if another intruder was going to your house?
Are you talking about people coming here to this country, immigrants? Is that what you're trying to talk about?
Yes.
Yeah, my families were immigrants.
Really loud. It's hard to hear the guy. Can you like move?
Yeah,
Well, I have the right to freedom of
I'm
speech.
sure you do, but it's hard to hear what he's saying. Can you like take it maybe a few feet away?
Good
Yeah, we'll
grief.
do what we can.
People,
However,
to Trump
you are not
2020.
welcome.
Go close.
I have the right to freedom
No,
of
you
speech.
do
We
not
want to
have the right to
support
free
Trump
speech
2020.
on this plaza. You
For
do
the
not
next
have the right to
election.
free speech on this
Oh, thank
plaza.
you. Yeah, you're helpful.
We have
We want to
rental
support Trump
agreement for this
2020.
plaza.
He's the greatest president we've ever had.
You liar! We'll set your pants on fire! Trump, a liar! We'll set his pants on fire! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
You touch me!
Venezuela! Hands off 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 Venezuela!
Catch this asshole on footage. You spat at me. You spat at me.
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
At me.
Hands off Venezuela!
Cops, right?
Hands off Venezuela!
Cops right now.
Venezuela! Hands off 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 Venezuela!
Oh yeah, you're right.
Hands off Venezuela! 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 It's off Venezuela! It's off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Off Venezuela!
Where'd he go? Did you get him on camera spitting at me?
I was filming Dion.
Yeah,
but I got it right after
Hands
that.
off Venezuela!
Next time.
Please be mindful of our senior citizens.
Where'd he sit on it?
We have elderly and disabled people sitting in these chairs, and you are just frolicking all over the place. Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
I think I might not play copyrighted music. What? I'm playing copyrighted music.
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
Trump is the greatest president.
Follow the march. Come on.
Hands off Venezuela!
Let's follow.
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off
Keep on filming.
Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
Did you see that fuckboy with the fedora? He fucking spat at me, dude.
Hands
Did he?
off
Yeah.
Venezuela!
We didn't manage to catch it on film. Did you catch that fucktard with the fedora spitting at me?
I was busy with Dion.
Watch me in frame next time. Watch me in frame.
Hands off
Good fucking work. Good fucking work.
Venezuela!
They're not insulting any more conservatives, ever.
You are never going to insult another conservative again.
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
Holy shit.
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
How are you
Hands
discriminating?
off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
You discriminate.
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
Around the sides. Around the sides.
Why is it?
Hands off Venezuela! 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 Hands off Venezuela!
I think I lost a couple years of my life.
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
Brothers in blood, brother. Brothers in blood.
Hands off Venezuela! Hands off Venezuela!
No, you're good. Hands off Venezuela. Hands off.
Holy shit! I told you, man.
Hands off Venezuela.
Yeah.
Hands off Venezuela. You realize you're contributing to the Venezuela.
Yeah, we know.
Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela.
It's good. You guys have free speech. You should be standing for your political beliefs. Yeah, that's why we're here.
Hands off Venezuela.
We might yell and scream at you guys, but in the end, we're all Americans.
Hands off Venezuela. You socialists will be the death of this country. Hands off Venezuela. 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 Hands off Venezuela.
So great,
Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela. Venezuela. Hands off.
Bring your cameras.
Do that. Hands off Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela.
You got Dion on stage, right?
Venezuela. Hands off Venezuela.